thing, but I was just so fixated on Canada, and I really, really wanted Canada to work out for me. So I realized that, okay, how else can I go to Canada? And at this point, we're still rounding up at IFE, still working on getting myself the degree I needed in IFE. Then I realized that, if I could get a supervisor in Canada, I could come through the educational route. And that was when I started. And long story short, before I finished from IFE, I was able to secure a supervisor here in Canada. And then that was how I made my way to Canada. So, it was a bit of a
wow. It's still in alignment with your back-to-back, lifestyle, basically. Yeah. But there are two questions. There are two follow-up questions I would like to ask based on this.
Okay, for sure.
You were doing a diploma in the University of Lagos. Why doing a degree in OA? And none of us know about it. Now, how were you able to? Because you were not just doing a degree in OA, you were also actively involved in departmental politics, in departmental service, and all of that. How were you able to manage these two big programs, and still be very relevant in everything that happened on campus?
Well, that's a good question. Hey, I think it all comes down to not sitting still. I remember my friend then was saying that he's a doctor. Was like, I think you need to go and do your thyroid evaluation. I think you're overproducing this hormone.
Wow.
Because there has to be something else going on. Like, he literally said, honestly, I would pay because I really want to see what your thyroid levels are, because how do you get the energy to do all of those things? But I think for me, it's all about, if I put my mind to something, I'm going to get it done. Just to give you an insight, I did my exam, I had my baby earlier this year. And so my doctor was like, we need to bring baby down. And I said, I have exam. I'm not bringing baby down until Saturday. And literally, I wadu. So I literally wrote my exam. And I went to hospital for induction later that night. I said, I don't care what you tell me. I'm writing this exam first. And then we'll do with having the baby later. So I wish I could explain it, but I guess it's just me. I just don't sit so still for so long, right? So that's it.
I think. While it is seeming so simple, I know it's a lot that will go in your mind, in your planning and time management and all of that. It's really inspiring. It's really inspiring. The other question that would follow that, this your response, is how were you able to secure the supervisor in Canada? Because you said you already had a supervisor before you rounded up the OAU program. How did you go about this? Like, just give a brief, detailed, step by step how you did it.
Okay, that's a good question. So, when I started out, honestly, I didn't even know I needed a supervisor. Let's be honest. I was just starting out with no knowledge. So I had to do my own troubleshooting. So, but I did realize that at that time, I don't know about right now, Canada was not offering MPT to international students. I think I found only one university that was offering, and that university said they only pick 2 every year. And I was like, okay, 2, I beg, that one don't feel work. So I started looking at other programs, and I found that I could do a research-based program here in Canada. So doing my deep dive again, I found out that you're supposed to send a cold email to professors that you would like to work with. So what I did at that time was that, still doing this deep dive, because I had no one holding my hand. It was all me just trying to figure out information from, whatever source I could get. Google is everywhere, is your best friend, I'll be honest with you. So I found that there's something called U15 in Canada. That's the universities with the highest, U15. That's the university with the highest number of funding from the federal government. Like, they get federal allocation straight up. And most of this funding goes towards research process. So I found out these universities existed, and then I made a list of the U15. Then I remember I started looking at courses in the U15. So there was, I narrowed down to about 3 that I wanted to do: exercise physiology, kinesiology, or rehabilitation science. But there's only so far you can go on your own. Like I said, I didn't have anyone really holding my hands or something. So I remember then I just I was still in Ife all this while, so I just went to my research supervisor, Dr. Mbada, and I said, okay, I just wanted to ask, a question for someone who has a PhD. Which of these fields will you recommend? And Dr. Mbada was like, they are all different things, and I didn't get a straight answer. So it was still like, okay. And I think I do appreciate this position now, because it's a bit difficult to tell someone, oh, this is this. Do you understand? So it's more like, you know what, it depends on what you want to do. So I left feeling like, you know what, I'm going to look at the research interest. If anything aligns with me, I'm going to go for it. That was what I initially thought. But I'll be honest with you, when it came to, I started emailing professors in, that research interest aligned and all of those things. And first university, I didn't get any response. Second one, I changed tactics. So it became anyone that was available, I'll be honest. So I started sending emails far and wide. And luckily, at the University of Calgary, I got someone who was able to email back to me, actually on a research I was so interested in. But when we had a conversation, she told me how much she was willing to provide in funding. And I felt that's not, after she provides that funding, I still have about half of the school fees to still pay. That's a lot of money. I said, no, where am I supposed to get that kind of money? I had some savings, but not to that level.
Yeah.
So I kept on searching, but I didn't tell her no. I kept finding in my back pocket, knowing that I already got one. Then I proceeded. Then, I started from A. So when I got to U of M, University of Manitoba, which was where I later went to, I looked at the research interest. I always start with what is my research interest first. So I'll send to that. I like their research first. Then others can be like, later on. So I sent email to two professors, and both of them actually reached out back to me. But the other person, one of them was a professor, so, and the other one was a newly minted person that was she was an assistant professor that was just hired there. So I spoke with a friend of mine that was in America, and, he was in a different field, but it was like, see, I'll say you should go for the first professor, they don't have wahala, because like they don't need you like that, like don't need to prove themselves again. So they will just give you wahala to do.
Yeah.
But I don't know, when I had the interview with the two of them, they both extended offers, but the newly minted one aligned more with my spirit.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what, that's what my friends advised. I'm going to go with the newly minted one. And I'm going to say that is a decision that I'm so grateful that I took. And then, so when we talked about funding, so she told me, I'll provide funding at least that will cover your first year of tuition. And then if you don't get extra funding, we can discuss later, basically that kind of thing. But luckily for me, I applied for a community scholarship with the university, and I got funding for my entire program and some extra.
Wow.
And then I went on to get about 4 more fundings while I was there, and then the rest, they say, is story.
Wow. That's really, really good. Like, I'm inspired to keep pursuing my dreams. I'm basically listening to my inner voice, because it shows that you listened to your inner voice, which is why you made the right decision. It's good.